You guys, I have a theory. Not just one theory, but two theories. That's right, it's mini theory time. As y'all probably know, we recently got a book called The Week Before, a phone guy prequel to FNAF 1. And although I already made a video going over anything that could have lore importance in that book, I've since then had time to think, to ponder, to process. And I fucking solved it! One of the things that I found interesting was the introduction of Phone Guy's daughter, Coppelia. Don't get me wrong, I get why they had to have her in there story-wise, just to kind of flesh out Phone Guy's character and add more stakes. But it's really odd for the FNAF lore to just have one-off characters, especially ones that have a connection to Fazbear's in their family. Surely her story didn't conclude with the passing of her father. Plus, with how young she was in that story, at this point in the timeline with the security breaches and help wanted, she's most likely a full-grown adult. So, is there anywhere in the new Steel Wool games that she could fit as a character? I tried thinking of a few options. Being Cassie's secret mother came to mind. But in the end, it seemed like no clues were adding up until all of a sudden, it hit me. In Help Wanted, we get introduced to Tape Girl, a mysterious game designer who discovers and tries to stop Glitch Trap before we even appear. What if Tape Girl is actually the adult version of Coppelia? Now I know what you're probably thinking, but Neo, in The Week Before, Phone Guys talks to Coppelia all the time, being like, whatever you do, don't get a job at Fredbear's. Don't ever get a job working for Fazbear. So why would she all of a sudden be playing their VR game? Well, to that I say she is indeed not working at Fazbear Entertainment, still living up to her dead father's wishes. Instead, we can tell through these logs that she works for the development team, which is their own company completely separated from Fazbear Entertainment. It just so happens that the company she works at is one of the honestly many companies that Fazbear Entertainment cycles through whenever making this VR game. Yeah, that's right, Fazbear Entertainment cycles through the different dev teams. Whenever we play as Vanessa, listening to the audio logs, Tape Girl specifically mentions how she only has 3 days left to work on this game until the next dev team takes over.
I was told I had 3 days to finish Jeremy's work, but I know it's just passing the time. There's another potential development studio that wants to pick up from here.
But yeah, this just goes to show that Coppelia really didn't fuck with Fazbear's, just like Phone Guy wanted her to. But it actually makes sense that she would go on to be a video game developer. Not only did Phone Guy describe her as being very smart for her age, but he also talked about how creative and imaginative she was. Two big traits that most video game developers have. Not only does it make logical sense though, but it also makes sense for her story and the wider FNAF lore. The daughter of Phone Guy, your leading voice in FNAF 1, is now taking on the mantle of leading you through this next generation of Steel Wool FNAF games. Both of which taking on that job literally right before you come in, and both of which presumably dying right after recording their pre-recorded messages for you. It would be the perfect story parallel, quite literally like father, like daughter. But what do you guys think? Do y'all agree with me, or do y'all think Coppelia will end up having a completely different role? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below. But before this video ends, we still have one extra mini theory to go over involving The Week Before. This one involving Cassidy, so stay tuned. If you've read or at least watched a summary video about The Week Before, then y'all will know about the mysterious Night 6, where we get introduced to Bronwin Light. Bronwin Light is a woman who applied to work at Fazbear's only to not get the job, which is weird considering that Phone Guy gave her a glowing review. Nonetheless, this prompts her to become a journalist investigating the Fazbear murders, only to then have to pull a Phone Guy and give Phone Guy himself a pre-recorded message right as she's dying, only to later be stuffed inside of a Freddy suit, which, in case you can't tell, is a direct parallel to what Phone Guy does to the player in FNAF 1. But even though she's dead, there's still the mystery of like, why? Why the fuck is she randomly introduced all of a sudden? Well, call me crazy, but I think it's because she's related to a character we're already really familiar with. That character being one of the missing children. But now the question remains, which one? I could see it possibly being Bonnie, considering whenever she first referred to him, she instinctively called him Jeremy instead of Bonnie before correcting herself. But I feel like there's a certain dead child possessing a certain golden bear that may be a better candidate. But more on that later. First, let's back up a bit. Now, why exactly do I think that Bronwin is connected to one of the missing kids? Well, to be honest, this is less of a theory and more of an educated guess. It's just me trying to pick up and make logical sense to some of the bizarre choices she makes. Like literally putting her life on the line this much just to possibly find out some extra info on the missing children's incident. And keep in mind, this is after her boss told her, if you print anything involving Freddy's, we're not gonna release it. So she's not gonna get paid for it. Whatever she's doing here, it's not to make money. And to top it all off, isn't it strange that Fazbear Entertainment still didn't want to hire her, even after she got like the best review from Phone Guy? But wait a minute, at this point in the lore, who would Fazbear Entertainment not want to hire? At this point in the timeline, besides maybe William Afton himself, there's really no reason Fazbear Entertainment wouldn't want to hire anybody else, unless they just so happen to see the name Bronwin Light and recognize the last name as the same last name that one of the missing children has. And why do I think that it may be Cassidy? Because we know that one of the past scrapped movie scripts was centered around Cassidy, one that Scott Cawthon said would be amazing for all the hardcore lore nerds like us, but terrible for anybody else who wasn't one of us, you know? Which means that at some point Scott Cawthon had enough characters and enough story to make a film fully centered around the character of Cassidy. What if this film was also going to include Bronwin Light as a either older sister or mother to Cassidy, along with Bronwin Light's mother, that we are led to believe is sort of her partner in crime in the Week Before book. But once again, I pass it on to you guys. Do y'all think that Bronwin Light could be related to Cassidy, or do you think I'm just full of shit? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below. And with that said, this has been 2 little mini theories about the brand new FNAF book, The Week Before. If you want to see any more mini FNAF theories, I recently did another one about Into the Pit. I recommend checking that one out if you haven't already. But with that said, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to beat that subscribe button like your dad beats your mom, and I will see y'all in the next video. Goodbye!